Hi, and welcome to another installment of United Way of the Lewis and Clark Area's Community Impact Series, a time when we take a few moments to visit with some of the partners in the community who help make a difference in the lives of your friends and neighbors and family members. My name is Brian Johnson. I'm the Executive Director of United Way of the Lewis and Clark Area, and today I have two special guests with me, Melinda Reed, Executive Director of the Friendship Center, and Greg Strizich, the Chair of the Board of Directors of the Friendship Center. Thanks for being here with us today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we have 31 agency partners as United Way, and Friendship Center is one of the longest standing partners that we have, and we're sure pleased to be part of the good work that the Friendship Center does in the community. Melinda, why don't you tell us a little bit about what the Friendship Center is, what its mission is, why is it such an important piece of our community?
It's a great question. The Friendship Center is primarily known as a shelter for victims and survivors of domestic and sexual violence. And that is the biggest part of what we do. We have an on-site shelter that has 12 rooms. We have both an emergency shelter and a transitional shelter. And in addition to our shelter services, we provide a wide array of support services, including legal advocacy, therapeutic services, children's services, and a big part of what we've been focusing on in the past year is prevention. That's not a direct service, but that's something we are focusing on quite a bit because we'd very much like to stop the problem before it starts. And that is a part of our work that is often overlooked, but we think it's a very serious part of what we're doing.
Well, that sounds great. Say a little bit more about prevention. I think that's particularly interesting for the folks watching today. I think many in our community, folks who are United Way supporters and supporters of the Friendship Center, would know about the crisis services. But what does prevention look like for the Friendship Center?
Prevention, there's a lot of areas that we can focus on, but right now our primary focus is on young people. Dating violence among teens and young adults is a very serious issue nationwide and also in our community. We are working in the schools, both the middle schools and the high schools, and we are reaching out to young people to help them recognize warning signs. Given today's social media and cultural interactions among young people, it can be difficult to spot a warning sign. An example I'll give is the average teenager will look at their phone 15 times in an hour.
Wow.
Is that normal? Is it not normal? It sort of depends. But you may not, as a parent, think to yourself, wow, my child's being stalked, but that may in fact be what's happening. So we're working with teenagers and young people to help them recognize when an interaction is perhaps crossing a line and when they should be concerned about that interaction.
Well, of course, I think we all hope that your prevention efforts are really successful, not only for young people, but for people of all ages. We know that unfortunately that's not the case. Tell us something about the scope of need in the geographic area that you serve, and how dramatic is the need for crisis intervention for domestic violence?
Well, the numbers can be quite shocking, frankly, when you think about the community we're in. We served over 2,000 people last year through phone calls and direct visits. The number of clients who actually received a service from us was just over 1,100, and we took over 2,000 crisis calls.
Wow.
That's in a one-year period, and that's in our community. We do serve Broadwater, Jefferson, and Lewis and Clark counties. Well over 70% of our clients are from Lewis and Clark County. So this is what's happening in our own community.
Say that percentage again about how many clients are from the local community again?
Well, it can be difficult to capture exactly, but I would say over 95% of our clients are from Montana. Of that 95%, over 70% are from Lewis and Clark County.
Sure.
And the remaining 25%, Broadwater, Jefferson, and around the state in cases where perhaps a woman needs to flee her community for security reasons.
Right, certainly domestic violence is a case where Montana should be looked at as a whole community, and Montanans
Yes.
are pretty amenable to that view of Montana anyway, and wow, 95% of folks you serve from Montana.
Yes.
Well, we know that you are and have for many years been doing a great job meeting the needs of those folks, and to turn to Greg for a moment, Chair of the Board of Directors for the Friendship Center, how long have you served on the Friendship Center's board, Greg?
Brian, I think this is my 8th year. And it's been a great, an honor for me to serve on the board, and I've really enjoyed watching the Friendship Center grow in terms of the services offered and the number of individuals in our community that they're able to serve, help, and assist.
Yeah, so you've been around as we've seen the Friendship Center really grow with new facilities and new programs and expansion to meet needs and all of those things.
Yes, and I think the thing that I really am like is the fact that with that new facility, the community has really rallied behind and around the Friendship Center to help that facility and the services it offers become the most that it can be for the community.
That's great. Yeah, good. Let's talk about community for a minute, Greg. You're a business leader here in town, if memory serves, and you're a man, and you're passionately engaged with the work of the Friendship Center. Why does the work of the Friendship Center matter to all of us in the community?
Well, it's interesting, Brian. I think a lot of people in the community don't know that there are men, several men are actually victims of domestic violence, and so they utilize the services of the Friendship Center. But I think in addition to that, I think where I think this cause has resonated strongly with women, I think it's important to get the word out and to be sort of a conduit to help create that understanding that it is important to men as well, because we're all in this together. It is a community issue and we all need to solve it together.
Yeah, great. Well, and we say at United Way that there's 3 ways to contribute, to give back, to solve some of these problems: to give, to advocate, and to volunteer. That's what you who are watching out there can do. You can give, and you can advocate, and you can volunteer, and you can have an impact on causes like prevention and intervention for domestic violence. And so for both you, Greg, and for you, Melinda, what are ways that folks watching can give and advocate and volunteer to contribute to your important mission?
We have a lot of great volunteer opportunities at the Friendship Center, and people who are interested in that can call our office. You can see the number on the screen, or you can reach out to us through our website. And we have opportunities ranging from structured and unstructured internships. You can volunteer to help with the donations we get from the community. Recently, we set up a room in the shelter where clients are able to access the donations from the community directly: clothing, baby items, food, furniture, etc. And we are always in need of volunteers to help us there. As far as advocacy goes, simply talking about the issue is a really big step. It is something that is difficult to talk about. It is something that is difficult to acknowledge. And the more we as a community recognize that it is happening here, the more we can do to respond to it. I think it's also very important for people to speak with people they may know who are in a relationship like this. Statistically, nationwide, over 50% of people who were surveyed were asked if they knew someone close to them, friend, family, etc., who was in an abusive relationship. Over 50% said yes, and less than 10% said that they were able to talk about that issue with the person. It's called bystander approach. So we are hoping that people who see something, they recognize there's a problem, they don't know how to talk about it, reach out to us. We can help you. We can help you think about ways to speak with someone about an abusive relationship. And that in and of itself is a form of advocacy. Helping someone you know get through this is a really important thing to do. And the last thing, there was advocacy, volunteering, and
giving. But folks are just going to knock
Yes.
it dead in the United Way campaign every year.
Of course
And
they
certainly
are.
if folks want to contribute directly to the Friendship Center, there's ways to
We
do
would
that on the
welcome that as
website
well.
too. But both of those ways are good ways to give. You know, I don't bring it up at every board meeting or in every TV interview for obvious reasons, but there is sort of a taboo, and that really passionate invitation you just gave just sort of inspired me just to share that, you know, for my family growing up, domestic violence was part of the story in my family of origin. You know, it was important to talk about those things, and that's a powerful invitation that Melinda makes, that we advocate for a healthy community when we speak out. And so I hope people do that. I hope people take you up on that and engage with the prevention efforts and the important work of the Friendship Center. One of my favorite things to engage with where the Friendship Center is concerned is coming up here very soon. Oh boy, oh boy. What is it, Melinda? Tell us about it.
This will be the 18th annual Empty Bowls. We will be at the fairgrounds again this year. It is our major annual fundraiser, and we are going to have a great time this year. We are featuring the Wilbur Raymond Quintet. Ooh. I know. Very exciting. We're very grateful that he has donated his time and talent to us this year. We will, as always, have a kids area, and we will have talented ceramicists who will be working with kids in clay arts. We have over 100 items in our silent auction, which is quite the auction every year. We have things for the whole family, lots of things for kids and for grown-ups as well. And we, of course, have a very esteemed group of soup servers this year. So if you have long wanted to have your soup served to you by the governor or the mayor or the sheriff or the chief of police, this is your
Andy
chance.
Hunthausen served me my soup last year.
And he'll be doing it again this year. We're very grateful. And we have, as always, fantastic soups from local businesses and breads from local bakeries and cookies made by lots of great people in the community. So it's going to be a great time.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we look forward to Empty Bowls every year. I know that's a community favorite, and we'll see you at the event. Tell us again the date.
It is April 8th from 4:30 to 7 at the fairgrounds.
Excellent. Well, we'll hope to see all of you there. And to you, Melinda, and to you, Greg, and the rest of the Board of Directors, thank you so much for the important work that the Friendship Center does in our community. On behalf of everybody out there who supports the annual United Way campaign, we're just really proud to get to be your partners in impacting the community in that way. And, thanks a lot. We really appreciate it.
And thank you. Being a part of United Way is very important for us. We feel a part of something bigger, which is really nice in our community.
Great.
Thank you, Brian.
Oh, you're so welcome. Well, we're all a part of something bigger, aren't we? As we attempt to advance the common good in Broadwater, Lewis and Clark, and Jefferson counties, organizations like the Friendship Center and our 30 other partners make that possible. So thanks for tuning in again to another series of community impact interviews with United Way. I want to remind you that we're right in the midst of allocation season, and so we're just about to begin allocations interviews. That means panels of volunteers are going throughout the community to our 31 partner agencies to review the work of those agencies, to learn about how they're having an impact, and to assign annual funding. We still could use a few more volunteers, but we're just down to the wire. So if you have an interest in being an allocations panel volunteer, call our office or send us an email, and we'd love to have you. Until next time, remember to give and advocate and volunteer.